Gregory Hall. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, Julian. I'm good. How are you?
Nice to have you here, man. I was waiting for this one.
It's good to be here. I'm glad
Nice.
to have this platform to share some of my stuff with everyone.
That's good. I'm sure you got a lot of things to share. Big encyclopedia of martial art you are, sir.
Yes. A martial arts anorak.
Oh, I tell you what. Do you want to give us a little introduction about who you are, what you do for a living?
Okay. Well, my name's Gregory Hall. I'm a sixth dan in karate, fifth dan Shoshinkai martial arts, fourth dan jiu-jitsu, a load of other credentials, Thai boxing, wrestling, grappling, loads. Been doing martial arts 47 years.
Wow.
Been teaching about 30 years. Yeah, I've always had a slant towards the reality because pretty quick I needed it in the job I did.
Yeah.
You soon find out what works and what doesn't when you need to do it, not because you have delusions of how it works,
No,
how it actually works.
we'll definitely talk about that as well. That's good. Like reality,
Yeah,
there's
big eye opener.
different people train for different things. Some
Yeah.
people go for the fitness, some people just do it for the movement, and then some people go there to learn how to fight properly.
Well, the good thing about martial arts, it caters for all them. Everybody can do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I remember I came to train in your home setup dojo a few times,
Yeah.
and we had a good crack. We did a bit of
Yeah.
boxing, we did a bit of grappling, we did a bit of everything, and every time there was something new. So that's cool stuff. Let's speak about you for a start, a little bit. Like, who is Gregory Hall? Which city were you born in, mate?
I was born in the city of Manchester, 1970. And the
Okay,
place within Manchester, Crumpsall.
Crumpsall. Okay.
Yes. It means a crooked piece of land next to the river in Anglo-Saxon.
Okay. How was it? How was it growing up in there? Was it tough already? Was it rough? Was it a rough place when you grew up?
Well, it was rough and ready, but that
Mhm.
wasn't the era of a snowflake. It was the era of rough and ready people. So we were all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was, rough and ready, yeah.
All right, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. So, I know you've trained with some of the biggest names in the industry of martial
Yeah,
arts, combatives, Thai boxing.
yeah.
We'll speak about all of them a bit individually. But so at what age were you when you started martial arts?
Well, the first time I actually set foot in a martial arts gym, dojo, whatever you want to call it, I
Yeah.
was 5, 1976. My brother was 10, and
Okay.
he went to judo. And
Yeah.
I went like this to him, man, hey man, why can't I go to the judo club? I want to go. The judo guy, everyone called him Old Joe because he was old, his name was Joe. And he was actually, when I went to the K&K years later, he was my judo coach's coach. So, but he was 10, I was 5. He said I was too young, but my mum said, go on, just let him come on, it'll keep him quiet. So I had a little suit and everything. And I remember he got me up one week and did this little move. I was made up. That was it. But that wasn't like for long. It was then a gap.
Yeah.
I was about 12 or 13 and started doing Chris Williams MAT Kung Fu at Abraham Moss. We did a dinner time and a Tuesday night class. So we did some of that. And then you got all these posters, like you have a wall with the
Yeah.
flyers and the cards on. Oh, Tang Soo Do,
Tansudo.
yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Hedges, it was something. Cook Soo One, and what's this? Nampai Chuan Kung Fu. I tried them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was the days before all this. You just have to go and try it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not spoon fed it like I was spoon fed all the good gear. When I first did Wing Chun, I've done Wing Chun for years.
Mm.
You learn that.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, you're doing this, and wow. Well, now they get the first form in 10 minutes. You
Mm.
can see it all here. It took us, wow, got that move. Yeah.
Yeah. Wing Chun is great. I actually was
Yeah.
fascinated about Wing Chun at some point. Obviously, it was always, it was always Bruce Lee that really like influenced us to do the Wing Chun and the JKD and all that stuff. I know your approach now, I mean, the way that you teach is it's following the philosophy of JKD very much so. It's just like a big mixture of everything, kind of flowing from art to art. And the thing is, at the same time, you went and trained individual art.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So who have you trained with then? I know the list is long, but you can.
Wow.
I'm all ears, man.
Well, I train with a lot. Right.
Yeah.
I've got to say this: my main instructor,
Yeah.
from all the years, and my inspiration in all the arts, and the reason why I trained, and an inroad to train with a lot of them because they did seminars at our gym. It's got to be Steve Powell.
Steve Powell, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's you know what I mean. He's been doing it forever, and he was reality as well. He had his own system, Choshinkai martial arts. It means a quiet mind.
Okay.
Or impact development and punching the big pads and everything. Yeah. He was my main one. But then, like I said, I did that with old Joe. I did a little bit, not too much, with Chris Williams. I did a lot of judo with John Drogan in Rhodes, K&K, private lessons and the classes. Tons and tons and tons of boxing. I sparred, boxed everywhere, everybody. You know what I mean? Heavyweight. Thai boxing, Master Toddy.
Master Toddy, yeah.
Newton Street. Later on it broke up into different arts and different things. But when Toddy was there, he had the whole block, the whole estate there. The Roadhouse was Master Toddy. Master A came later.
Okay.
Yeah, and you had a few other teachers there, but it was Toddy. Yeah, then I did a load with Dennis Martin.
Dennis Martin, yeah.
You see, like I said, because a lot of it was before any of this, you've only got these things in your head or a little book or somebody tells you. A lot of it is delusional, but when you don't know, you don't know. You have to go and see, search them all out. So, let's see what's going on here. Toddy we did Saturday afternoon. I went every night at one point, but Saturday afternoon was great because we did Krabi Krabong, the Thai sword.
Oh, yeah, the Thai stick.
Yeah, sword. And then we did Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the afternoon, it was Thai boxing. So it was great, when you're young, you can go all day. It was fit, good. The main room was here, and then in the back was a ring. Right, all the fighters next door, and you went next door and sparred with everybody. And, some top names were there: Howard Brown, Edge Brown, his brother, Ronnie Green, Howard. Some really good guys there, and just wow, sparring with this guy. Wow, made up. Go home, tell me, Dad, hey, Dad, that's what I sparred with today. And then when we were at Steve's, he used to bring, we called them the two Ricks because the name was Rick, and he'd come over a couple of times a year. Rick Fay, Rick Young.
Oh yeah, I know.
All the JK. Yeah, Ace. Yeah. We had Larry Hartzell used to come.
Brilliant grappler.
Yeah, brilliant, strong. People say he's a brilliant grappler, but his boxing drills were great. He had some really good. I teach boxing more than anything, and I'll teach a load of lads. He had some really good stuff, some really good drills, attribute development. Strategies.
Yeah,
some right good stuff. I seem to have got far more boxing drills of the martial art coaches than the boxing coaches. You know what I mean? But most boxing gyms, it's jab till your arm falls off. You know what I mean? You jab the bag, jab the pad. Right, now 6 months, you've got a jab. Now we'll have the right hand, it takes forever. But the martial art coaches, the eclectic ones who are training a lot, they're doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you just focus on that, you're missing out all the other stuff.
Yeah.
They do that as well as. So I've got some great drills off Larry, some great boxing drills off Ricky Fay too. He had some good stuff. Yeah.
All the old school guys. I mean, Larry Hartzell, he died a while back, and now.
Yeah, he did. I was a full instructor under Larry.
Okay.
I was training with Larry quite a bit. Yeah, I brought him over myself once to hold him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Tons of stories as well. Hardcore. He did 2 or 3 tours of Vietnam. He was a sheriff. He worked the door in LA. gang infested. He was hardcore.
Mm.
Yeah, and he's a great grappler, tons of grappling stuff.
Now these are all the guys as well. I've heard you speaking about some other names. Have you've been training with Peter Constantine, Geoff Thompson as well?
I did a seminar
Mm.
for, when Pete and Jeff used to put them seminars on, the daily seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and a couple of lads. We went down with Carl Tanswell.
Okay.
To Peter's. But my coach, Steve, trained a lot with Peter.
Okay.
And Peter worked the door in Manchester.
Peter Constantine worked the doors in Manchester.
Yeah, he did. He had a few doors in Manchester, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I speak with him every now and then because I'm a member of the British Combat Association. Like, it's a very, very nice guy. I've watched the double hip movement that he does. It's like the guy is able to generate quite a lot of power from that double hip movement. It's pretty impressive, man.
Well, I first learned that double hip off Steve. He taught us that. Yeah. So we did that for years before I knew about Peter. And Peter does it slightly different to the way we do it. Yeah, okay. Peter does it different. But they're both boom when they hit your pad. Both boom, good shot.
Yeah. So you've been to the US as well to train with.
I've been to the US a few times.
Okay.
I trained with Ricky Fay.
Mm-hmm.
I used to teach a class at Ricky Fay's because I stayed there for a few months.
All right.
So he let me, I can use the gym. I teach a class. Yeah. I sparred with some of the Thai boxers there that were getting ready to compete and I helped them. I went to Chicago with the woman that did a lot of his classes and ran the gym a lot. Yeah. Diana. We drove right across to Chicago, Bellite. To train with Sulachai Siddhasuti, the head of the Thai Boxing Association of America.
Oh, right, okay.
He was good. He got me up on the stage and we were doing some pad work. And I always remember because he tried to cut me off because it's a technique I use. And what they do is they give you an out there, knowing that you're going to take it, and then they hit you as you come out. I knew that's what he was trying to do because Brian used that Colliston Mustard and taught me the same thing and I've used it. So as he steps over, I fainted like I was going to go that way and he threw his shot and I came out this way and he went up with the pads like that and to give me a round of applause afterwards saying it was an exhibition of good English stand-up boxing. Yeah, I remember. We went for dinner at a restaurant and he had these red hot chili peppers. Someone said he was a joker. It was a joke of his. He said, I'll buy you dinner, Greg. Oh, nice one. So he dropped these red hot chili peppers on me plate, but I seen it. So I didn't let him know though. I just stepped round it. He said, oh, you seen me. I said, yeah, I seen you. Yeah, so it was good, yeah. And then I got on a lot with Mark Hatmaker. I'm planning on going over again.
Okay, yeah.
And he taught me a load of the catch, I like the old school game. I seem to like all the old school bare knuckle and the old school catch and the old school ways to train, the bronze era stuff. I like all that. And Mark did all that.
I've heard a lot of good things about Mark Hatmaker. Yeah. I've never met him, never really spoke with him, but I think he's on my Facebook friend list. I've seen some of his stuff. Yeah, he's got some really good, cool stuff.
Really good. That was funny too. He put the pads on one of the guys, and I give him a 1-2, bang, bang. He said, "Oh, we've got a fight on our hands here." And we didn't do much boxing after that. It was grappling all the time. So, yeah. It's good though. He's very good, yeah, man. Going over again,
And so you've trained. Did you say you trained with Royce Gracie as well?
Yeah, Royce Gracie. Way back. He was funny too. Going on about United, football, calling United. I said, you did in Manchester, you can't be saying that. But he gave me a blue belt a million years ago when it was a big deal to have a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Again, that was before SBG was going. It was called Defence Unlimited, I think it was.
Okay.
It was on Portland Street. No, Newton Street. Steve Powell's was here, where Toddy's used to be. And Carl was at the end. And he brought Royce there. Yeah. You can have a good guy. So he taught you some good stuff, but he was a funny guy. You know what I mean? You can have a laugh with him.
It's good. It's good to be able to to train with people and also being able to like interact with them on a human level. You know, everybody's different, but I like that's the same. You know, I've always kind of been selective with people that I've been to train with. First of all, you know, I'm quite visual. I'm a visual kinesthetic learner, so I've been, you know, when I was growing up, I was lucky. It was the time when the YouTube was exploding with videos of, and I was able to look at all the different, you know, research all the different types of martial arts on YouTube. I was fortunate enough to travel as well with my father, as I said to you, you know, traveled a bit all over the place to train with people as well. But it's like it's fun when you get to train with people that are really good and you develop that friendship with them as well. That's pretty cool stuff. We've got some good stories as well with various people. So I think you spoke to me about Tony Blauer as well. Have you ever trained with him, or did you just
No, I've never trained with him. I've never trained with him, but the reason why Tony Blauer, Jeff Thompson, Pete, and all them,
yeah,
bringing out books, DVDs.
yeah,
You know, Tony had that True Fendo, and
yeah,
you see him all sat in the back of a Volkswagen, and it all kicks off, and it was like, wow, that's how we want to be training. Like that, real.
yeah. The scenario training, yeah,
Yeah. All we had back in the day was sporting or traditional. Nobody did all that. So just to see it, you know, and Jeff was talking about all the way it is for real and how he dealt with it. Like, yeah, that's right. You're right. If something resonates with you, you're going to do it.
yeah.
And
For
not
sure.
like it resonated with me because I knew what he was talking about because I've been there.
Mm.
You know, right?
So
Dennis Martin was the same kind of thing. When I went on Dennis Martin, I went on the first ever international years ago, and he's teaching us some of the Fairbairn stuff.
Fairbairn, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I want to train like that. Yeah. Get away from all that other way. This is the way I want to do it like that.
So do you feel like you had a bit of a transition? For example, me in my life, in my experience of the martial arts and combat sports and combatives, there were like periods of my life, and I really started with traditional martial arts where it was, you know, kimono, white kimono and belts, and doing like you know, judo and different karate styles and taekwondo, and you know, it was very traditional. And then at some point I moved from the traditional to a more self-defense aspect, you know, more street stuff, because of my father. And then because of my father, you know, police tactics and police combative tactics and all that stuff came into it, and it made me change the way that I was viewing all that training and the way that I was training. And then eventually at some point there was another shift, is when I got into combat sports, when I started to do boxing and Thai boxing, and you know, and I started to fight a bit, and you know, it kind of changes your mentality. But I think it's great when you get to train all these different styles, because it gives you combative maturity. It gives you every time a piece of the puzzle that you're missing, and eventually at the end you end up with a clear picture of what it is. So what, you know, what made you transition from the traditional martial arts to combat sports? Did you have that transition?
Yeah, well, from that what you've just said, it's like we're all a manifestation of our experiences, you see.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you have different experiences, you're a different being. These many people can see the same situation, but they all look at it differently because of their experiences. Their filters, how they're seeing it, is different, you see.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And then for reality, I had pubs. I had a pub, I was landlord. I ran nightclub doors. I had a gym. So I needed this difference. So pretty quick, woo, I need this.
You wanted something that was applicable.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the same.
I knew judo was hardcore, boxing was hardcore.
Yeah.
I think karate, there wasn't much more than that at first.
Back in the days, yeah.
Yeah. The traditional values they give you, the discipline, the respect, the history, the conditioning, the fitness is great. But it was just something missing. We never touched gloves on the door or slapped hands and then grabbed up like that. It didn't go down like that. There was no guard, no stance.
Yeah.
Why is this guy shouting at me? The guy at karate never did that. What do I do here?
Yeah.
Why is he stood there? Move back a bit. Put your guard up. What's going on? Does he want to fight or is he just talking to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody might really be asking you, what time is it? Or where's the 52 bus going? Somebody might be trying to distract you. You've got to play the game and suss it out.
All of a sudden, it was like it wasn't a sportive platform. It was starting from an emotional platform, right in your face, and So
and that was the hardest thing to. That was the hardest thing to deal with.
Yeah,
because education, it's all education. You don't know, so you don't know. But when you know and someone explains it all, then when it happens, I know what this is. That's that, and I'm that because he told me. Oh, it's bang on the money. Like one of the biggest things for me when I got on the door was the adrenaline come down. The before and the during, I could deal with that. But after, I used to go through into the like little cafe at the back.
Yeah.
Money and get a drink, and you only got hot chocolate because the rest were garbage. But sit down, drink me hot chocolate. Whoa! It hit you like a freight train. That concoction. Whoa! Here we go.
Yeah, the post-fight.
First time it kicked off ever on the door. Get me a taxi. It's not for me. This. I'm going home. I'm sick. Whoa! It hits you like a freight train.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you know some guys growling and all that, and you think every way is different until you either see it or someone points out actually he does that, so does it. Oh, everyone does the same thing. And once you get to there, that's where they're going to go. Well, then you get to suss that. You've got to watch sometimes you don't become a hair trigger.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's starting there and you've had 100 times where he started like that, you know it's going to kick, so let's finish it quick, bang, nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
so you'll be right, because if you know it, you know it. But bystanders don't know it. You hit that man for no reason. You're out of order. Like you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because they don't know it was going to go because they've not done it a million times like, you know, somebody who has.
So it's all up to the education now. Now we're getting into the realm of situational awareness, environmental awareness, behavioral awareness, being able to spot pre-threat indicators in order to be ready, basically, and maybe, you know, if need be, to be preemptive.
Yeah.
And that's the whole education. It really takes learning how violence occurs, how violence works. And for that, you need to observe it. And, you know, I mean, I do the doors as well. You know, when we do the doors, we see that every weekend. So it's a good idea to observe that. And then you're like, right, okay, oh, it's going to kick off now. You know yourself. You're like, when you
count down, can't you? 5. Now, if it was a punch, you can
bang, that's it. 3, 2, 1, and boom.
Yeah.
If it's happening outside, generally, you know, you can't intervene. So you're like that with your colleague, yo, it's gonna kick off. It's gonna kick off.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? And after, you know, years, you don't have to say anything. You can get a feel. Oh, don't I? I don't want this guy in. Why? No, I don't want him in. I can tell.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same. I've always been a very good judge of character. You look at facial expression, the eye contact, the way people are dressed, the way they move, and you know straight away who you want in your club and who you don't want in your club.
Yeah. Because some of the weaker don't want to let them in and know there's no trouble.
Yeah.
But I've always been, it's harder to get them out than it is to block them at the door.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's prevention. That is called true prevention.
Yeah, don't let me.
And then, you know, it's giving them an excuse that they're not gonna freak out over, an excuse that they're not gonna get pissed off over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course it is. You've got to give them a way out where they don't feel
don't lose their face.
He's putting me down. He's making me look a fool in front of my friends. Got to give them a little way out that they'll take, and then everybody's a winner.
A little loophole.
Yeah. Because if you let them in, we're in. And the next minute, there's 20 down there. So you're doing that to deal with all that not occurring.
Yeah. For sure, man, for sure. Like the doors, man, it's a job. It's not for everyone, and you need to have a certain type of mentality to do that job. And you know, a lot of people see people doing that type of work, like, you know, back in the days there were a lot of brutes, you know, doing that job, and that gave people the wrong impression. But really, there are some very, very good doormen out there, and you know, people I've trained with, people I've worked with, like people like Lee Morrison, for example. I mean, this guy was like a whole encyclopedia, a whole manual when it comes to working the doors and all the tactics and all the de-escalation, and that's the main thing.
Soft
I
skills.
always say to people, the main thing is enhanced communication skills, active listening, customer service. These are the main things that we want to work on as a doorman, you know. And a lot of people don't see that.
Now, when you're younger, you go and
Yeah, you want to go there. You want to
drag him out.
Yeah.
But now, I can get him to walk with me to the door, and so they're nearly out now. I've only got to say, like, mate, this is what's happened. So I've separated him from all his backup.
Yeah,
so he goes easy.
Yeah.
And then I can even go in and say, your mate's getting off. They've all just walked too. Jeez, problem solved without doing anything.
That's it.
Much easier than dragging one and then the old gaff goes up.
Oh, you got that technique, like when, you know, when it's loud inside. And like, so I need to talk to you. So I can't hear you, man. Come over here. And you get him to the doors, get him out, close the door. See you later.
I say like, what? What? I say, come on, it's too loud here. Come on here. So he can hear me saying something, but I'm making it muffled on purpose.
Yeah.
Then he walk behind me all the way to the door.
That's a good. That's a good technique. One of my friends actually said that he was working the doors with you for a while. One of my ex-students, by the way, Robert Mitchell, South African guy.
Robert Mitchell. What?
Shortly, he must have worked on the same doors as you.
Yeah, I must know him. I've worked with that many, you know what I mean? Thousands over the years.
Yeah, I know. There's so many people. Where did you work at the Gorilla or Albert Schloss?
No.
Who
did he work for? I worked all over, yeah, but I don't work them too.
Well, I'll ask him.
Yeah, because I'm intrigued now. I know where.
Yeah.
It was another thing, right? When I went over to America, and when I was here, I got massive into the grappling. I got me, freestyle wrestling level 2. I did load with Eric Paulson, got all these DVDs, videos.
Paulson. Yeah.
Some great stuff. He's great as well. No doubt about it. But I was veering towards the grappling more so on the door. And now bang me head, I bang me knee, I bang me elbow. Even one of my own guys went to kick the other guy, kicked me in the rib. So I thought I better hold it down a bit, make it so it's not at the forefront.
Yeah.
And when you do
on the floor, on the doors.
When I do the grappling or teach the grappling, I call it cement friendly. It's got to be cement friendly.
Cement friendly.
Yeah.
Was it Gracie that hurt his knee in a street fight?
Yeah, it was one of them, wasn't it? I don't think it was Hoist, was it?
I can't remember who it was, but I've heard something
it was
like
Henzo.
that.
It was Henzo because he shot in, I think, and banged his knee on the floor, concrete.
Yeah. That's why, I love grappling. I think grappling is great. In fact, I'm coming back to it. Grappling was my first martial art was judo when I was 4 years old. So I love it. I think it's great. It's got a lot of attributes. It gives you a lot of attributes like coordination, knowing how it feels to be submitted, knowing how it feels to be banged about, bashed about, thrown to the floor, get somebody heavier than you, knocking the wind out of you, and how to move, how to get back on your feet. All that stuff is great. But in a street fight, yourself, if you have to deal with more than one person, and at least one of them is going to have a weapon of some type, or at least you should expect to
always expect it. Yeah.
And now straight away, when you look at grappling with a weapon, that changes the whole dynamic. So there's someone in the US that's very, very good at that, and I'm going to be interviewing him towards the end of the month. It's Craig Douglas from SheWorks. So is that something that you've trained, like actually grappling with a weapon? So grappling with a knife or grappling with a gun?
Yeah, we've got drills. We do, like back-to-back wrestling.
Yeah.
You put a knife there, and it's either do a turn on and grapple, or do I run for the blade? And if you run for the blade, does he grab the blade, or does he try and dive on me before I get to it? That's a good one. And then like guys in the mount trying to, you just gotta sometimes just freelance like you go. some point one needs to pull a blade, see what occurs.
Yeah.
You'll find from trying to smush the guy on the floor and pin him, whoa, it's all these high up positions, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pinning arms, stopping him being able to pull it out, checking if he's got one.
Yeah.
Knee rides, high up knee rides, whoa, scan and disengage if you have to.
Yeah.
Down on the floor, pinning, changes everything. But when I grapple and teach grappling, I like it to run through everything. You know, gi, there's no gi.
Yeah.
It's with the weapons, like you're saying, as MMA, I want one way that Cook does them all, rather than saying it's just a gi move, it's just a no gi move, it's just the MMA. It's just one that I can run through all them arenas, and then I remember it. I won't get logjam like. I'll remember it. I can do it.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's something. Next time I come and see you, that's something I'd like to work on. Actually, grappling with a weapon. That's
well, like I say, I've done. I think you should learn to grapple.
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah. Because you know a lot of guys. I put the combatives moves in and the rough stuff, and I can beat him. But the guy is a good judo player. He's a good wrestler, and he's on top of you. So the guy thinks, I'll bite him, I'll gouge him, I'll hit him in the balls. All you've done is reminded this sport fighter that wasn't doing that.
He can do the same,
rough stuff. And now I'm on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we've got, all them different arts. Seeing how they combine, putting in, you know, like in the jiu-jitsu, they have the temiwaza, strikes and that. There's certain way to deliver it and do it in combinations. In the catch, they have the hooks and the rips. So you've got the hooks and the rips and the atemi and the submissions. And the submissions are all ballistic. You know, it's snap, no tap. They're all ballistic. And the strikes are all ballistic.
Yeah.
But the formula, dominate through superior positioning, cause as much pain and injury as possible so you can get up and then get up quick. Yeah. And if there's other people, you use that man as a marker. You know, if someone wants to get to you now, he's got to step over him. And when he steps over him, he's going to run into problems.
Yeah. No, that's all interesting stuff. Like, I think grappling, you know, like I said, you know, it's always, if people want to be complete, they want to have a good grappling base and a good striking base. And then on the top of that, we'll add the weapons. And then on the top of that, we'll add all the combative principles and the mentality and the street mentality and the violence and the study of violence and all that stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, if you have this, then you have all the elements necessary to, you know, to complete.
The reason why all them years ago, I went to Steve Powell's gym, loved it, stayed with it forever, still practice all that game more than anything else, was because of that boom, that impact development. I thought, I want one of them. Boom, when I seen it, that's what I want, one of them. You know, I don't want to be jab, cross over. Boom, that's it. One hour, you know, like one hour.
Big hits.
Yeah, that's what I liked. That's what I feel like. Because I remember this. Lloyd Hoonigan was fighting a guy, boxing welterweight title, Johnny Bump City Bumfist, right? Mm-hmm. And he's on the stool, and Lloyd's up and going across the ring, and halfway across the ring, the bell goes. So he's only just getting off the stool. And then Lloyd, you know, gives it him while he's just getting up. But he was the bell had one. And afterwards, what was all that about? And Lloyd said, you don't get paid overtime, mate. You don't get paid overtime. So, you know, that's the same. We don't start, boom.
It's like Tyson, you know, I used to love, I still do. I absolutely love Mike Tyson. I loved him as a boxer before more than as a human being. But to be fair, in the last 4 or 5 years, he really come up a lot in my book, even as a person. You know, he's mellowed down a lot ever since.
All like DMT.
Yeah. He broke the buffo. He had the DMT experience. He worked with the plant medicine, and that changes. I mean, I've worked with plant medicine for a while as well, and it changed. It really transformed my life, made me into a better person, man. So it calmed him down a lot. I mean, but to go back to what you were saying, remember when Mike Tyson, in his young days, in his prime, when he was fighting,
he was a wrecking ball
on a show. He was there to go there, knock them out, and go home.
He was a wrecking ball.
How many fights did just lasted? First round, bang, good night, see you later.
They were on at 2:30 in the morning, right? So I'm sat there, and whenever they were on with my dad, I'll just do the brew, Dad. It's over, son. What?
Yeah. Tyson, amazing. Like, you know, the mindset, you just can see it in his eyes. You know, that's one thing. I always took a lot of inspiration from Mike Tyson when it comes to mindset. I can always remember. I can't remember which guy he was fighting, but that black guy who was in front of him, and he was going from leg to leg like that, and you could see Mike Tyson just following him with the eyes like that, and you were like, "That's it, that's it." He already knows.
That funny thing with his neck, didn't he?
Yeah. Mate, he already knows. That guy won. That's it.
He was a wrecking ball, and the type of punching, everything in it, bang, all the body mechanics, all the rotation, all the weight. Once he's got a technique down, he's putting a bad intention in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what's your favorite combo in boxing? What do you like to practice the most? What do you find worked for you the most?
That's a good question.
There's quite a few.
I have a style I like to box based on my attributes. Side on, back door up, jab the guy's face off with no hands in front, and then I'm establishing the jab, and then I just see it's a reconnaissance mission. I get a roadmap. Oh, when I feint like that, he drops that. When I hit him in the belly, he does this. When I move like that, I'd think, he's not good at going to the right. Or if you've got prior info, he's got a good left hook, and we'll go that way away from it. You know, he likes to fight in close. Well, we'll keep you out long when he gets close. And then it's just what opens up off that jab. And from that, seeing what the guy does. Yeah, but I reckon the combo I like, if you ask me what combo I like, say jab, cross, hook, cross.
Yeah, jab, hook, yeah.
Because I like to do the jab, cross, hook, cross, and then lean over and dip and shovel up the body. And it's an old saying in boxing: lead with speed, devour with power. So I'm going fast, boom, because it's up, and then it's a hard one in the body. And anybody you struck one in the body will tell you on the chin, you have it till you come back round. In the body, you keep that till the end. That don't go you know, you get them in the liver or you get them in the soul.
So how do you get to actually think? You see this sort of thing that obviously when you spar, and that's why it's interesting to spar as often as possible, because you quiet the mind. You know, when you get to that space where you're present, you're in that state. In Japanese they call it mushin, no mind. Where you're there, and you can actually start to make plans. You can actually start to become strategical in your mind by you know, perceiving what he's doing and start to plan ahead, 2-3 movements ahead.
It does it.
Eh?
It does it.
Yeah, like Bruce Lee used to say.
The training kicks in and it does it. Oh, he does that, bang. Oh.
Yeah. But it takes time for that to happen. You know, it's like always, there is five levels to when you learn. There's always, so there is unconscious incompetence, where your people are incompetent, they don't even know it because they've never been shown. Then there is conscious incompetence, where now people know that they are incompetent, and then with a few repetitions they become consciously competent, where now they're competent but they have to think about it. And then there is unconscious competence, where now they've done enough reps so that now they're doing it, they're not even thinking about it. And then on the top of that, mastery is when the right response comes, you know, the right skill set comes in response to the right situation without you even thinking about it. It's all instinctive and automatic. So that takes time, innit?
Yeah, it's like conscious, subconscious, above, whatever's there. That's where that comes from. I've had 2 or 3 guys before in the door, and my bottle's going, and then all of a sudden, I've been done 3. What's going on here? It did it. My bottle was going. I didn't do anything. It, whatever, did it. Dealt with them for me. Oh, thank you. You're a nice one. I was like, oh no. Good. Yeah, it does it.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. So what about What about Jeet Kune, man? What can you tell me? I know you've trained with Steve Powell. I know you've trained with Danny Inosanto a little bit, with various people. What can you tell me? What's your... I know that Jeet Kune is a bit different for everyone, but...
Jeet Kune,
yeah.
See, certain people disagree totally. So, what's
I
that?
know.
But my take, I can only give my take, and this is my take.
That's what I'm asking.
It broke into two camps.
Yeah.
The people that only wanted to do what Bruce Lee did.
Yeah.
Now, what I think, there's some great stuff, but you got to remember Bruce Lee died. It was in all the papers. I've seen it. He would have moved on. He would have done other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He must do. For him to be so frontline and everything, he must do. Because why all of a sudden is he so frontline? Would he have then just gone, I'm not looking at anything else, that's it, bang. He wouldn't have done it. He'd have looked. And then you've got the concepts guys.
Yeah.
And I understand that as well. But I think if you're trying to get a system that's yours,
yeah,
your martial arts journey is you come in with no system, you like that, nothing. Then you're a technique junkie because they all look fantastic, they all look great, right? Intermediate. Then it gets whittled away to this is my game, this is my game. Now I'm going to get ace out of that.
Yeah. So it's to find your game, basically. Yeah.
And a lot of them, what I see is they just keep going like that forever. When you've got to start, you get a masterpiece with a carving. You need a lot of surplus clay first, but at some point there will be a masterpiece. You don't keep chipping away, but you don't keep adding anything. You've got it.
That's it. Yeah, it's not an accumulation of technique anymore.
Yeah. See, the trouble with martial arts, you don't get anything. They don't come in the shop and buy that. Here's that.
Yeah.
I heard it. Martial arts is a process. It's not a product. It's the journey. It's the roadmap. It's I don't know which way to go, and I want this, and I've got a bit of knowledge. Oh well, I'll tell you. This is the way. Try that. That's what we do as teachers. Look at this. A lot of times, what people need when they come to me and train, is not what they want. I want this, I want that, I want that. Well, listen, kid, you might want that and I want this, I want that, but you ain't ready because you can't do that, and that yet.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And if you've got shaky fundamental movement patterns, these are going to be no good. But they don't like that because they don't know, or they don't want to know that they're not as good as they think they are. They're only there.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You have to know, be truthful with yourself.
They always say, mastery is mastery of the fundamentals. So that's what it is.
It's a better mastery of the basics.
Yeah.
Advanced basics is what you get good at. Mayweather does that jab. The kid at 12 gets taught that jab. It's the same jab. It's just Mayweather's level of knowledge of that jab is so much higher. You can do it so much better.
Yeah.
That's all. It's the same jab.
Yeah. It's just keep bringing them tiny micro adjustments to that jab to make it better, faster, less telegraphic.
Constant refining. And then your confidence grows too. A lot of stuff. I'm not trying that. I remember a boxer at one of the gyms, and the main coach was going on holiday, and they wanted this kid to try this move. Just say it was a shovel up to the body. And the coach said, let him spar with all them, but don't let him spar with him, because he knew he's too good, he'll hurt him. So when he's come back and he's watched the sparring, this kid was going to fight, you knew you let him spar with him, didn't you? How do you know? Because he's gun shy. He's not trying that now. Because you let him spar with him when he tried it, got chinned, didn't he? Yeah. He knew before.
Yeah.
Because you knew, yeah. So, you got, that's why, like you said, you train with certain people or certain people you don't. Because I teach, I'm trying to get this thing going big, and I've got students and everything.
Yeah.
So if you train with a numpty that goes hard, you can have the ego, but when you've got an arm like that, you can't teach the next day.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
I've been with all these big teachers and coaches, and they're great. But most of my training has been with 10 over the years that I've done a lot with. And with my students, pals, whatever, that's where we got it. We only got the stuff off them to actually make it part of us and go through that levels of consciousness thing.
Yeah.
it's the everyday partner that does that with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one I'm going to rep it out with. Yeah.
You always wanna look after your training partner, because who you're gonna train with after. I don't understand this mentality of, people just ripping their sparring partner apart, and you got more and more people like that in the world of MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, Thai boxing, where people they just don't care. They know they're gonna get somebody else, and they just rack the floor with their training partners. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what the traditional martial arts was good for. If they could have MMA with traditional values, it'd be sweet.
Yeah.
And what you get is like this. I always taught it like this. You've got triangle. You've got fighting ability.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people when they're coming in, get the gloves on, let's just bang, get the pads on, let's just kickbox, no technique, let's just go for it, let's just wrestle. And they can't quite land that right hand, they can't quite block that kick or get that triangle on. And then you get the other side, technical ability. You can do all the pad drills, all the trapping drills, all the locking drills, but without going like, everything's a drill. You've got no fighting ability. You've got to get technical ability, fighting ability. And how you do it is for play. You come up with a drill that has a technical ability that will enhance some of the fighting ability based on the drill. And you make the drill fun. Everybody wants to do it, and we're all getting better. Yeah.
That's good. Now you're getting into methodology, which is the next thing I wanted to speak about with you. So, in terms of training methodology, because we know, being a good instructor really is about being able to convey the message and being able to pass on your knowledge as efficiently as possible, and also, as you just said, making it interesting for your students so that your students want to come back and learn some more. So, what's your take on training methodology when it comes to teaching martial arts?
Well, there's many, different high-level coaches teach me the I principle. The I principle. You've got learn, practice, perfect, functionalize, maintain. You take, every move through that. You've got the information, isolation, integration philosophy. And they're just all good philosophies. And usually people want to train what they're good at.
Yeah.
So they try all these martial arts. I think I'm good at kicking. So they do the kicking arts and swear by them.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like grappling arts. Because you can handball everybody. That's why I like grappling arts.
Yeah.
Some people like the boxing arts because they can punch good. So that's what it first is. Which one of them they're good at. And then each one has got its own teaching, training, you know what I mean? And then the training for keeping it forever, because yours, it's a lifetime study, it's not a 2-minute thing.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
Different if you're trying to peak for competitions, you get periodization and then down a bit, that'd go like that. Doing it forever, you do that, maybe take it up a bit. Bring it right down a bit, and then life gets in the way. You get ill, you're working, this happens, that happens. Can't do it as much, then you can do it. So a lot of it is based on that. I use sometimes the FIT principle, frequency. How many times a week can you go? Intensity. How hard are we going? Time. How long have you got in there? And then type. What we're doing.
I like that, bro. That's good.
Yeah, you see. So there's a load of different methodologies have been taught.
Yeah.
And you have to suss out what a guy, like you said, you're a visual learner. So you show guys who's a visual learner.
Yeah. Visual kinesthetic, using the VAC principle, innit?
Yeah, and some know, they tell you, I can't quite get a feel. Oh, tap. I see what's going on. Oh, visual.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, the audio learner, him, yeah. And some of the mixture. And as the coach, you have to suss out which one he is and then teach him. And some guys are rough, so you can teach them rough. Or some guys are soft, so you have to mollycoddle them a bit. You
have to break it down, make it digestible.
Some guys are roughneck, some guys are softer. They can all do it. You just got to, teach the way you do it.
Find the best way to suit their individual learning needs. Individual learning.
People have different learning curves.
Yeah.
I remember on a video clip or YouTube clip, I think it was Billy Robinson said, the best wrestler he ever seen, bar none, was a guy called Billy Joyce, a Wigan guy.
Mm.
And he said for years he couldn't get it. He just couldn't get it. You know, he wasn't getting it. He wasn't the best wrestler there for years at the Wigan Snake Pit. But then overnight, all of a sudden, nobody could touch him. And I think he said it was something like 7 years. Now that is a steep learning curve. You know, that comes down to his mentality. I don't care. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Never giving up.
Like that. Some it's one step at a time. Some it's like that, hit a plateau, wait a minute. You know what I mean? They all have different learning curves and different levels of consciousness. And
Yeah.
types of learner.
It's interesting what you're talking about. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what sort of learning curve I have. And I can see myself with plateaus, you know, I see myself reaching plateaus, and then I kind of, you know, stay on that plateau for a while. And then I take a break. You know, I realize that I actually get better when I go home and take a break from it for a bit, and then come back with a fresh mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know, sometimes I go, when I do Thai boxing, yeah, and let's say if I take a little break for a few weeks or something like that, and then I come back and people are like, what the heck? You've not been training. You better
go again.
Yeah.
Sometimes your training can get stale. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So you change it. It's like when I train, I'm listening to rock 1 minute.
Yeah.
And then I might put old school punk on the next minute because I'm sick of
that. So in terms of the technical mind versus the conceptual mind, you see, because within the martial arts, a lot of people, I know because I went through that process myself. At first, when I started martial art, and for a lot of people, it still is like that. For a lot of martial artists, it's like it's an accumulation of techniques. So a technique for this, a technique for that, this strike for this strike for that, and it becomes all of a very, very codified. You know what I mean? And very difficult to apply in a real situation because it's too codified. Instead of really thinking in terms of principles and concepts, where now you're freeing a lot of space on the hard drive because you understand that every skill set is a reflection of a certain principle and concept. And once you get that, then you can create your own techniques.
Well, the good coach, this is the way it was taught to me, the good coach creates an environment where answers start presenting themselves.
Yeah.
You saw someone on the move. But what you've got to watch is they all of a sudden think they're rocket scientists. I came up with this, I came up with that. I know you did, kid. I created that drill where that would come to you. I knew that. But they don't get that. They think, I'm ace. So, yeah, you know, you've got to watch that. But things should come, especially the more advanced ones. I say to my advanced guys, if you're not putting your own slant on it, I want to know why. What's going on? Why didn't you put an elbow stick? I'll put the knee there. Why didn't you enter a bit differently and get that? And, you know, they do, because that's the way we teach them. Concepts, guidelines, theories. They say to me a lot of times, I don't get this move. I don't want you to get the move. I don't care if you get the move.
Concept.
I want you to get a concept behind the move. And then you come up with a million moves based on that concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that already once, I remember when I went through that shift in my head, it's like when you get wiser. It's basically, I call this combative maturity. You're you know, as you look back, even a year ago or 2 years ago, you realize you're smarter now. Your combative maturity has evolved. Your understanding of how to train smarter, more efficiently, more economically. It's like you look back and you're like, oh shit, I was still doing that at that time. I'm not doing that stuff anymore because I don't need to do that stuff, because I got something much more economical, much more efficient in terms of training. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And it is a thing of, for reality, learning new techniques will get you killed. It says like that. If you've got a good old standby who's never let you down, why would you try a new move? And I didn't quite get that right. Bang.
That's it. That's what Geoff Thompson used to call it, the sniper option. You know? It's like you have that one or two moves that you train them over and over and over again in so many different ways that you own them. You own these movements, and you know that whoever you get with that shot is going down.
You know what? This is not a funny story, but you start whacking guys that didn't need a whack.
Yeah.
Because it's trained to, under these circumstances, if this person pushes them buttons, he does that, bang. And then you think, oh, he didn't need that, but that's why he was trained.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you try, right, we'll be selective. But then the techniques go, oh, wait a minute, are we doing it or what? Is this guy? So it's an hard one, that, because I've said to guys, don't start pushing all them buttons. I know you're not a roughneck, but you're pushing, you're going on like that.
That is, I always say, you know, even to my students, I always say, you know, you can learn all the techniques, you can learn all the concepts and principles, you can learn all the mindset and everything. But the most difficult thing in a fight is spotting the moment where it's about to kick off and now you need to do something first. Because being preemptive is not easy at all, because you need to stay on the good side of the law. You're asking yourself, should I hit him now or should I not?
Especially now.
Yeah. Is he reaching for a pack of cigarettes or is he reaching for a knife?
Can you take a chance? In the animal kingdom,
Yeah.
you've got a coral barrier reef snake. It's supposed to be one of the most poisonous animals on the planet.
Yeah.
You've got a lookalike. It's not poisonous a bit. Are you going to take the chance it's not the poisonous one? No way.
Nah, that's what I say, mate. It doesn't matter. You can always, you can always apologize and let people know, you know. At the end of the day, if I don't see 10 digits, when the people that I don't know, I'm not letting them in my personal space if I don't see 10 digits. As soon as I see a weight shift or I see a vein popping here or a vein here, the jaw clenching, the fist clenching, looking for witnesses, like the hand disappears in the background. Oh, that's
all
like
cues. All cues.
All pre-threat indicators.
That's the time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the time to go.
And then all these, you know, complex. Now, if we speak about, you know, the difference between the complex fine motor skills that are taught in certain forms of martial arts, as opposed to a more simple gross motor options, like even boxing. When you look at it, I know boxing, some people say it's fine motor skills. It is to a certain extent, but boxing is not as fine motor skills as Wing Chun, for example. I think boxing is much more simple than Wing Chun in terms of body mechanics. So now, all these, you know, when you got a martial art that teaches you a series of movements in order to deal with one thing, so 5 movements to deal with one thing, when you could just go bang and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, works for me.
One movement, one t-shirt fits all, sort of thing.
Well, I liken it too. You've got your surplus adrenaline.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, especially if you're people that have not dealt with it a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mistake is for massive fear.
Yes.
You've got surplus adrenaline.
Yeah.
You've got your preemptive strike. You've got all your moves behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way to get rid of that surplus adrenaline and move it out of the way and get to your moves is to have that well-trained, well-placed boom. Because people say, what happens if I go bang like that? It doesn't work. Now you've done something positive. You're in a combat flow state. All that surplus adrenaline moves out of the way, and guess what? Your martial arts that you've been practicing all of years, now you can access. You can get to them because you're in the zone. You're not bottling it. You're thinking, how much we do. You know, you're going.
You know, so that's another very important thing, and I like to speak about it. You know, on every podcast that I do is something that I bring up because it's very important, and not everybody speaks about it. Only like people that have been there and done it speak about adrenaline. You know, and the different types of adrenal dumps that you get. So whether it's pre-fight adrenaline or in-fight adrenaline or post-fight adrenaline, whether it's a slow, moderate, or quick release, whether it's a low, moderate, or elevated release, whether it's the primary release or secondary release. It's like, this is stuff that obviously we know what it is because we do the doors and we had to face that. It's like Russell Jarmisty says, you know, it's liquid gold. It's that biochemical cocktail that is working for you. It's designed to make you a more efficient fighter right there and then. And all the physiological factors when you go from parasympathetic system to sympathetic system, nervous system, it's meant to make you a more efficient fighter. But a lot of people mistake that, as you say, with fear, and they freeze. Their heart rate goes above 145, 175 beats per minute, and boom, people just freeze and they can't do
It's
no.
based on the heart rate, like you're saying there.
Yeah, the heart rate, yeah.
You've got the complex, the fine, and the gross motor.
Yeah.
At a certain heart rates per minute, complex goes out the window. Complex is too fine motor skills.
Around 90, 100 beats per minute.
And it goes up higher, and fine motor skills go out the window.
Yeah.
But when it goes to what they call psychogenic stress, the highest form of stress, gross motor skills are enhanced. That's why
right.
A good fighter becomes worse, and a bad fighter becomes better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better at doing that now than your it goes out the window a bit.
And the thing is that when we look at it from a physiological point of view, it's basically because the heart rate and everything that happens, you know, the acceleration in heart rate, the amygdala, you know, triggering the adrenal gland, releasing the adrenaline, and the blood being shunted from the extremities to gather at the center mass, you know, to feed the heart and lungs. And also the main thing, what you're saying is there is a cognitive shift, because the blood that is now at the front of the face, that's where we got nice colors now. And the neocortex prefrontal lobe is fed with that blood. And when the adrenal, especially if there's a big adrenal dome, the blood is shunted at the back to feed the limbic system. That's where people go midbrain and limbic. And that's where fine motor skills are gone. Decision-making abilities gone. Fine motor skills.
Breathing control, the breath control.
Yeah, control
the breathing, control everything. The more you can keep your heart rate down, the better move you can use. If you've been in the game, like we've been in the game, I think from when I started, I'm last man standing. I don't know if there's many more left from when I first started on the door. You get a feel. You've done it a million times.
Yeah.
So you know what to do.
Yeah.
We're coaches. It's them newbies to coach that this stuff is hard to teach.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing you can do is point out to him, this is how it goes. And because, you know, we've done the door, they should have confidence. Yeah, he does it every week, front line. I'll listen to him. You teach him how it goes. You show him how it goes. When it happens, hopefully, hey, this is the kind of coach ready to go. I can do his move. This is why, you know, they call it triggers and cues. If he does that, some people, like we say, the way they learn. So some people, they'll say something. So what he's saying, bang, when he starts speaking, because he'd like to say something. Some it'll be a visual. If he does that again, you know, one guy I know used to draw an imaginary line in the sand. Steps over that. Because these cues override all that. These triggers, override all that. And the cues are when you understand what a person does when he's about to start trying to inflict damage on you.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't just come out of nowhere. You can see it, can't you? You know what I mean? Bang, they get revved up and you see these certain cues. You do your trigger. It not only does something, it supposedly should disengage his brain. Yet one of the biggest differences I knew on the door for years was when he started on the cocaine. When he started coming up growling neck and you could talk to a normal guy, even a bit drunk guy, you can. But these guys on that, and the drink on that, you might as well talk to the wall.
Yeah.
So this is why, you know, when the police or the judges or whatever are giving you those, like, Judge, when did you work a door on a Saturday night? You don't know what they start going on, like how daft they are on this game.
You get people that are drunk, excited because they've been working all week. They're just excited for the weekend. Now they're with all their friends. They're drunk. Very often also pharmaceutically assisted, sniffed out their head, and they think they can take on the world. And now you got to be especially if there is a group of them. And that is what I find the most difficulty in the job that we do is dealing with one guy or two guys. It's all right. We can do it, especially if you got a good team of people. That goes quite easy. Now, when you have to deal with a group of people and there's more of them than there is of you, and I've been I was doing the doors at the Beer Killer at Printworks a couple of years ago, and they were sending us some people. Some of the door lads were agencies. I was like, I had to speak with the owner of the agency to tell him to make an effort to send us some
Yeah.
because,
I know all
bro,
about her.
a few times I had to deal with shit, and I was like that to them. I was like, right, come with me. I had to deal with stuff, and I turned around, they're gone. They, bro. So at some point I had to just grab one guy, and I didn't realize that he had fucking 5 mates with him. So they all jumped on me. So obviously, there was a few people there to help me out, but you know, the guys that I was counting on, they were gone, bro.
I've had that a few times.
Oh,
The
mate,
reason why I quit the door for a bit
mm,
was because the last 3 or 4 times it kicked off, the guy I was with did one. I thought, wow, these people are
yeah,
not doing this.
that's not worth it. You
Then
need
I'll
a
keep
strong
one.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. And one guy, like you say, agency, this woman came upstairs. There's a guy down there drunk and he's marrying all the women and he won't stop. But we told him, went down, it was the agency door, man. I had to throw him out, sack him. No, mate,
Yeah.
come on, go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
throw the doorman out.
I mean, it's madness. Like, to be fair, the place where I'm working now, we got a really good team. We got a
Yeah.
very good team. They're all like former either MMA fighters or bare knuckles, or they're instructors, or do you know what I mean? So we got a nice strong team. Been doing the doors for a long time. We got that eye contact. We don't even need to talk. Eye contact. We know straight away what's happening. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
I'm there looking at him, looking at him, looking at that guy. We're going for that. Boom. That's it. I'll send you footage. I saved the footage from the CCTV. Brilliant tactic that we implemented 2-3 weeks ago. So one guy is getting agitated. We've had a few complaints. We told him to calm down a few times, and you know, I'm quite a patient person. Anyway, you know, we told him a few times to calm down, and now I have one of my colleagues facing him. My colleague was getting a bit upset because that guy was taking the piss. He wasn't respecting him, so I kind of went behind. He wasn't aware that I was there. Yeah, he had his hand around his girlfriend. Yeah. And at some point, as the argument kind of escalated, I've seen him taking his hand off his girlfriend and, you know, getting that in that position. So I knew, we all knew that he's going to kick off. So one of my colleague, Mark, what he did, he seen I was behind. I got closer. I was ready to grab him. He pushed him into me, shoved him into me. I went seat belt and I just took him out. It was so smooth that people didn't even realize. We looked at the CCTV footage. People kept drinking. They didn't even turn their head. They didn't even realize what happened. That's how smooth it was. And it was a brilliant team tactics, team effort. And, you know, we watched that sort of thing on the CCTV at the end of the shift to see, right, okay, that worked. Right, that could have been done better. You know, I could have been positioned more to the left. We could have used the pincer approach or the triangulation tactics, or, you know, the various way to actually approach the individual so that you can make it clinical and just take him out without even, you know, without.
I used to train upstairs on Newton Street.
Yeah.
Come downstairs and work the roadhouse years ago. And the old pre-badge thing was, if you can't bang them out, you've got to choke them out.
Yeah.
That's what he used to say.
Yeah.
So the manager, John, he's got a table football.
Yeah.
So we used to play it. It's hot, so I took my door coat off. It was a black badge. It was a black badge. It weren't the SAA one.
Oh, yeah.
So okay. Now, the mosh pit, where they bounce into each other, you know, the heavy metal guys, there's a band from Salford. So there's some Salford guys in. So one of the rockers has bashed into him like that.
Yeah.
He didn't know it was a mosh pit. He started cracking, but they're only students. So I've gone over to him. He started creating, but then I thought, I don't know I'm the doorman. Wait a minute. I've got to put my coat on. Look, I'm the doorman, mate. You know, I'm telling you, they're not meaning anything by it. It's a mosh pit to bump into you.
Mm.
So he's growling and going on, and then I didn't even think, I've got him in the rear naked. I just spun him down. And it was funny because from all this growling and snarling, I kid you not, the guy had tears coming down his cheeks and was going, don't hurt me, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. He's crying. He was a big strong man. And I got him to the bottom of the stairs. And I thought, oh, no, how am I going to get him up there? But it was funny. A guy I work with now, John, all of a sudden just appeared. Just a fella, get this guy here with me. Took him outside, yeah.
See, that's the thing. I've noticed this. There's a lot of people, you know, they play gangster. They're all hard and stuff. And when you when you put the hit onto them, yeah, they act all like, "Huh," like they're a victim. All of a sudden, they go from that to victim. Like what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Like, mate, I've asked you 5 times to calm down. I've asked you to come with me. I gave you the choice. I gave you plenty of choice, plenty of room to think. You know what I mean? So like people very quickly turn into a victim when you switch the hit on. Do you know what I mean?
That was a thing I noticed on the door, and I hadn't seen it, but until a lot later in, when they were giving it all the big time Charlie and trying to put it on you and giving you loads, and you give them an attitude adjuster. Mr. Officer, we say, Mr. Officer, you was a killer a minute ago. What's up with you? And I said, yeah, he was going to punch me head in, connected to these guys, and then Mr. Officer, he just what?
Yeah. So back to the martial arts and combatives, okay? Because this all comes hand in hand, we actually use that on the doors. The doors obviously is a bit different because now you got different rules of engagement, and you got to preserve the client, the customer, as much as you can, unless the level of threat escalates, and now somebody breaks a bottle and tries to bottle you. That's different, and now all bets are off then, and then the rules of engagement do change. Then now you're fighting for your life. But in terms of martial arts and combative training perspective, what do you have to say about the difference between attribute development and fight development? Because a lot of martial art teachers out there are stuck into the attribute development phase of things, and that's all they do. That's all you see them do. But the real people that have been there and done it and faced real violence know that that's not enough. Attribute development is one thing, but you need to have the fight development aspect of things, and then you need to pressure test.
I think it's like this. Way back in the day, medieval times or whatever, when they all war, there is no, you've got punching, kicking. I think this is my theory. They've got totality, a full circle.
Yeah.
But they want to practice this part of it. So they come up with, we'll do some fist fighting, and then that developed. We want to practice the kicks, the low kicks or whatever kicks. So maybe we get tangled with our sword and shield, we can kick to get them done. So that became kicking, and say what we end up grappling. They all separated to practice the whole thing. But then the separations have become a thing when not everybody's at feudal England anymore. You see. So we used to draw from the real to get the sport. Now you draw from the sport to get the real. See?
Yeah.
You get a pressure testing with the sparring. Just when I got my gym and they're doing a move, I just turn the video on and it all goes to bits. And that pressure testing can be too much for some people. You have to do it, slowly press it up. So I reckon that you learn a move. And if it's for real, and all martial arts is an adaptation to circumstance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
There was a Filipino system. I don't know whether it's southern or northern, and they had no leg attacks. So the other system was saying your system lacks.
Yeah. There's a hole. Yeah.
You've got no leg attacks, and they said, "But that's because we're running in the sea and fighting them as they get out of the boat. You're waiting till they get on the land. You can't do leg attacks; it hits the water." So that's a circumstance difference.
Yeah.
If, like you say, rules of engagement, the way that was taught to me, where just say like a special forces, however, you go over to a war-torn country, and one of the guys has got delicate talks to one of the leaders, and he says to the boys, "Don't do any violence, don't do anything, don't let them get that. If they do this." So they've got perfect talent what they can and can't do. On the door or in the street, you've got that quick.
Yeah.
There's no rules or nothing. It's all done right now, that quick. Yeah. So when you train as a newbie, you only should, in my opinion, if you want realistic base martial arts, you've got to train with an ex-doorman or a doorman. Who else is in front line these days? Nobody. Police maybe, but they've got tools, a million people.
Yeah.
2 people on the door doing it week in, week out. They're the ones that can teach it properly, who are doing the experience things.
Sure.
You can get psychopaths or whatever as well, but you don't want to train with them because they're psychopaths. So you get the moves down first. and you get a good level, then you can start polishing that move. That's where the attribute development comes in.
Yeah.
Or they've got a gap, whatever, I can't do it fast, not strong enough, his spatial relationship, his timing's out, his distancing's not good. So you see these gaps, and the attribute development is to make it better based on one of them attributes. See, them kind of things. So it's not actually polishing the move. The attribute is what needs working on: spatial relationship, timing, distancing, body mechanics. You know what I mean? That's what I believe. You've got to get the move down first.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
You've got to do the attribute development once you've got it down. Then you can put the mindset in. I can hit now fully with bad intention because I've got the attribute development. Got the basic move. I can do it.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Like,
I think it's interesting. You were talking about the medieval stuff. I've always had a lot of respect for the medieval arts, because this is the stuff that have been pressure tested on the battlefield for thousands and thousands of years, man. So you know, the weaponry, the axe, the sword, the knife, even the empty hand from medieval time was pretty fucking brutal. It's very similar to what we see today in the combatives, to be honest. So all that stuff is stuff that's been pressure tested. Like you say, you know, like kind of building the move, learning the movement first, very slowly in the air, and then, you know, kind of slowly going on to partner crossover, where you try that movement on a compliant partner, and you slowly higher the pace, you know, raise the pace and the intensity. And then eventually at some point when you feel ready, we start going a bit faster and faster. We start adding the impact pad work, static pad work at first. Then we add footwork to it. So we add more dynamic pad work. And then when we really start to feel like we got it, put the protective gear on and just go for it and see what's wrong.
And you get your, you know, stress inoculation stuff.
Yeah.
You know the stresses that can happen in violence: fear, pain, dizziness. You know, you get knackered. So you put them in and make them that they can still go through that. It's like, you know, the cupboard and keychain. I put a wrist lock on, bang, they hit the floor. Fast on the wrist lock. Now I create a little scenario about a family member or something. I could snap that wrist and they can hit me. There you go. See, there you go. Now I've got that. You can take that. You know, you can take that. I've just proved it to you. With pain inoculation for them. They know they can take that and deal with it.
That is where now we go into, you know, so you got the mental and emotional preparation. But obviously the physical preparation is one thing, but so how would you rate the importance of cultivating the right mindset for a real life and death confrontational situation? And do you think it's
number one?
Top
of this food chain, number one. That's it. If you can't get the emotional implications, the mental implications, the tactical implications, the physical ain't doing nothing.
Exactly. That's the base of everything. Mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, mindset. Whatever you're doing, mindset should run right down the bottom. Mindset's the king.
No, it's for sure, you know, and that's why I think mindset is focused on so much, especially in the military. That's what they work on the most. Mindset, that never giving up attitude, that killer instinct, you know, being able to access this cold clinical aggression on a switch. And so that's how we train it. Anyway, that's how it's been taught to me by Lee Morrison, was really to build that switch inside your mind and train yourself to go from a soft mental and emotional state to a hard mental emotional state in a fraction of a second. So I kind of made my own mishmash of it, my own ideas of it. But what I like to do is I like to be in front of a mirror and be smiling and just talk and just be that normal person. And in a fraction of a second, all of a sudden, bam, bam, just go and, you know, switch that aggression on, and then go back to my smile straight away after that. So I go with the switch like on, off.
That made me laugh, because I worked with guys on the door back in the day, and the growl used to beat everyone. Never had to do anything. I used to practice try to put it on guys in the middle, growling. But it never worked. No, come on.
People don't like it.
So I had to do the move because it didn't work.
They're shy.
Shy enough.
I used to shy away as well at first, you know, when you like put the aggression in there, the growling and everything, you know. But
Yeah.
imagine that is psychological, because at the end of the day, when you fight for real, and even when you fight in the ring, you need to attack your opponent in every possible aspect. So if you can attack them physically, attack them physically. If you can attack them on an emotional level, on the psychological level, you know, it's like in a street fight. You know, if you want them to think that you're crazy, it's not that you're crazy. You might not be crazy, but at that point, if you have to fight more than one guy, you want them to think, whoa, 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 wait a second, I'm not going near that guy. That guy's is crazy. Do you know what I mean? So you're kind
Like
of
Samuel King's book, Dogs Don't Know Kung Fu. It's because
yeah,
they're crazy, you don't go near it.
it's true, it's true. But you see a dog growling, you don't want to, you know,
Yeah,
even a little dog.
It might be the softest dog ever, but you're not going near it. It's because you can see it going crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So how would you go on about training and teaching the cultivation of mindset when you teach your students?
Well, Marcus Wynn, I trained with him a little bit, but we used to talk a lot online and that, and he gave me a lot of drills. He called it, and I think it's very apt, the neural-based operative.
Yeah, neural-based, yeah.
Everything should be neural-based because it has to come from somewhere before it comes out. So it's all the emotional and the mental, you know, it's neural-based, everything. So you can do something like you pin a guy to the floor.
Yeah.
You're a good grappler. You pin him to the floor. He tries his moves. You don't let him get him. Then he gets cranky. Get off me. No. Get off me. No. Then when he starts kicking into that, fucking get off me. That's what I want to see. Now when you get up and do your moves, that's what I want you to kick into. Like going crazy. You're really trying to get me off because now you're getting claustrophobic and all that. That's what I want to see you do now. You know, you bring that out. You like if you're locked in a room and you try to kick the door in, but now there's a fire or your son or your daughter's on the other side, you level up in that, kick that door and go through the roof. You rip that door clean off, go through it. You know, we've all got it in us to do it.
Access all, but what I like to, the way that I like to put it across, because you know, is those people that are born with mindset, those people that mindset comes easier, you know, like alpha males, you know, but then you get people or even women, you know, that have got a lot of difficulties accessing this aggression. How do we get this? How do we get them to find this? What I usually use is, I always use the example of a mother. I always say every mother is a killer.
Yeah.
I try to mess with the baby of any mother and see what happens to you.
Yeah.
She will find the aggression. It doesn't matter how heavy she is, what sort of mindset she has, how big or how small she is, how strong or not she is. If you touch a mother's baby with the wrong intention, she will access that aggression straight in a fraction of a second.
If you give them something, if something happened to you now, you can't play the guitar anymore. You can't do your thing. That person won't have his husband, wife, son now.
The pain of loss.
Yeah, you give them that. It's got to be something I'm really fond of, passionate about. It's mine. I love it. And you're going to try and take that away? Nah, no way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It sparks that indignation. It sparks that who the fuck are you to me in my life and those I love. Yeah.
Well, that's been going on from medieval times. We send the knights to war, onward, Christian soldiers, because they think they're doing work for God. So now they feel righteous in what they're doing. It's just righteous anger, same. You're bringing up the same. I'm morally justified. I think I'm legally justified because I've come to the end of my tether and it's you that brought me there. Plus, I think when you do the teaching, when you've had a lot of experiences, you can bring up one of the experiences. This is what occurred, what you're talking about. And this is how I dealt with it. So this is how I'm going to teach you to do that. Yeah. And you incrementally, slowly step it up. It's like in sport grappling. Grappling, just saying. He's got a new move. So you've got to rep it first. You got to rep it. He can't do it yet. Right, he's got it now. Give him 50%. Give him 75%. Give him 100%. Now he's got to get it. So they get the confidence
Yeah.
The knowledge base is there.
It increases, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, they need the pressure testing, but it's incrementally. And the impact, get them used to, boom. Are you all right with that? Yeah, I'm all right with that. Do it a bit harder. Are you all right with that? Yeah, I'm all right with that. And I'm going to do it full on, bang.
Yeah.
Used to that, because that's what I beat a lot of them, that shock, impact, initial, what? No moves come in the head because I've gone out the window.
Yeah.
So you get me used to that shock, that pain tolerance.
Yeah,
Then you can teach them what to do because they're used to it now.
That's the inoculation, you know. So we get a lot of that stuff in urban combatives as well, where these impact inoculation drills that are designed to get people to understand that they're stronger than what they think they are. They can actually withstand heavy impact and still be there, and get rid of that fear of getting punched hard. Even if you're in the middle and you got 3-4 guys with big 16-ounce punching gloves and just giving it to you full contact for 10 seconds, and you're just in the middle, kind of just try to avoid getting knocked out. I think these sort of drills are really, really good to build this this mindset as well.
I had a pub many years ago, and I had a door firm and a gym upstairs. So all the boys used to come to the pub.
Yeah.
Right, tell me what happened last week. Right, let's all go through it. It worked. And we'll do it live and do it real. Right. Is that better? Right. So we teach them all. Right. We sat at a bar. Close the door. Sat at a bar. You put a crash helmet on or whatever. You've got gloves on. You put this on. There's argument stuff. Bang. It escalates. It goes. 2 more come. Is that we could do it really, really real because I had the facilities and the boys to practice that. It was hands-on training of boys that is what happened. So it was a live situation. It's not theatre. We did this last week. And we'd all look at it, and some, very experienced people. Like you were saying, well, maybe if you did that, or maybe you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Right. You can suss it all.
Find ways to improve it better, safer next time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you implement scenario training, simulations and scenario training in your training?
I have a 3-pronged way to do that.
Okay.
I have a static drill. They do it in the middle. They're doing it in front of me till they get it. Then we have a dynamic way to do it. You're hitting some kind of focus mitt, heavy bag, big shield, tie pad. It's an impact development stuff.
Yeah.
Then it's scenario based, and the scenario based can start and there.
Yeah.
And it's got to work there. But you've got to give people positive outcomes.
Yeah.
So they've got to win. You know what I mean? Because that's what gives them positivity. So that's why you start off low. Yeah, no, we're not going all out, but you got positive. Now we'll step it up. You can still do it. See?
Yeah, progressive.
You can still, it's incrementally stepping it up. So this is all out. Look, you can still do it. So now I've got confidence in the all out thing, rather than if I come straight in, but not doing it, no confidence. Not trying. That's crap. It didn't work. You know what I mean? Give the confidence by the incrementally.
Goes down.
Yeah.
And
then you can
it's
do
all
it.
about building people up. It's not about breaking them mentally, emotionally. You want to kind of build them up.
Build them up, show them the skills work.
Show them what they can do, yeah.
And I call it, it's a condensed curriculum. More about less.
Less is more.
You've got these few moves. In Zen they say the brilliance is in the simplicity. But I can't half do them few moves. Yeah. And it's not like people say, yeah, but Greg, you on your best day bringing your A game, someone will beat you. So what's the good of that? What if you get one of them? I said, because we're not teaching you to fight nobody. You're intervening in a fight. You're not fighting nobody. You're intervening, and you can knock him out. You can stun and run. You don't have to knock him out and then try and take on the old gaff to show you're the governor, you're the man. Bang! He's a bit dizzy. You're up the street before he knows what's going on. Self-defense fighting. Yeah. So that you can do to anybody. If you got the best fighter on the planet looking that way, and you know how to swing a lump hammer hard, and you hit him on the temple, he'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to get at.
It all depends how tough the chin and that chin and that neck is. Like,
yeah.
if you look at people like Tyson, fuck,
Yeah, but you ask any boxer, it's the one he doesn't see, is the one that knock him out.
Yeah. The
So you're
punch
making him so he's not ready, boom, and it comes out of nowhere. And you don't have to knock out, he has to, whoa, you're gone. You don't stand there. That's why when I do my scenarios, I make him make the escape afterwards. Don't, because what's on the disc is what will come out.
It's going to
So
come
if you
back.
chin him and stand there in training, guess what I say? You're going to stand there. There was a story told to me. Caliber Press Newsline. It used to be like a thing that came out. We used to get it because it had some great stories. And this copper, American police copper man, he was in the traffic and there was a kerfuffle here. Someone's going on here. So he gets out of the car and he sees one guy on the floor. There's a guy here with his gun in his hand and he's like, and now he's pointing at him and shouting. And he's, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden he sees a bullet come in the man's head and he falls on the floor like that. And he looks, and the gun's in his hand. He said, I don't know what happened. The training's kicked in. He's done it right. You see, he's learned to train. That's a good way. Now, the way that he was saying about the bad way, there was 2 more American police in like one of the marts, and they're going down an aisle trying to look for this. They call them perpetrators, the bad guy who's got a gun. So the copper, one of them, comes up to him. He takes the gun off him. He passes it in back.
He gives it back to him and gets shot.
Shoots him in the shoulder. Then the other kid shooting, bang. He's lucky because that's what they've been doing in the training. This arm, give it back. This arm, give it back. So he did give it back. When I've been teaching a lot of knife defense because I'm always worried about knife defense.
Yeah.
You get stabbed, they go, oh, I say, listen, you're not dead till you're dead.
Exactly. Keep fighting.
You got stabbed the slats. What are you doing? Keep going.
Until there's nothing left.
Because otherwise you're training yourself to die. Oh, that's it. Well, you train yourself to get that.
You're saying exactly the same thing I'm saying. It's like, if you eat the first one, then make sure you don't eat the second one and the third one. And because generally people die from multiple stab wounds. Yeah. Obviously, you could die from a single stab wound if you reach into no organs, but it's once again, it's a mindset thing. It's not martial art mindset. It's more like combative mindset right now.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is, with emotions, we're talking about emotions.
Yeah.
And they say the 2 biggest emotions, sex and violence. They use it to sell everything. It's in every film, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Which, when it's broken down again, survival is the number 1. Because one is survival of the race, and one is survival of the self.
Yeah.
So when a man is that enraged and pissed off that he's done the mental gymnastics to get up there where he'll kill you with a blade, the normal person, unless he can get up there, he's in the trouble. So what I teach him is the verbalization. As soon as they see a blade, oh, knife. The conscious is still going, what shit? Now they're up there. Now they go there. So you have to have little things like that to whoa, because if you can't match where he's at mentally, emotionally, you're getting that blade from going in there.
It's kind of accessing that level of aggression that's gonna totally eclipse his sort of and you need to have that in a fraction of a second. It's like
you need a cue, knife, Jeet. You'll go then.
Do you teach the so they are working on the doors and working the police forces or any armed forces? You get these dynamic risk assessment, which is very, very important to be able to do that under pressure. But the Americans have got the OODA loop from Colonel John Boyd from the US Air Force. Do you see what you're saying here? Is like, for example, when somebody has got a blade, the blade is out, he's walking towards you. In his head, he's predatory. He's in a hard mental, emotional state. In his head, he's got only one thing to do, stab you until you're dead. And you are not aware of him. So your OODA loop is all the way to the bottom. It's not even, you first have to observe, orient, then, perceive the threat and decide, gather the information, make the decision, and then act upon. It's crazy. You got like 4 thought processes when the man has got only one. So that's why most of the knife defense that you see people teaching is very, very unrealistic, because the guy has got one thought process with one action. The guy that's not aware has got 4 thought process with generally more than one action as well. Do you know, it's mad.
And when they don't education, they don't know. So they bottle it here, and then it's just I'm a heavy bag for the knife. It's just you're not going to do nothing.
Oh yeah, sewing machine.
Yeah. So that OODA loop again, like you're saying, has to be access quick, understanding what's going on, keeping your scanning going on, because that scanning lets you see what's going on. But like on a physiological level, you're getting tunnel vision, adrenaline deafness, all this. So doing this with your head brings it back all again.
Yeah.
Looking at the exit, what can I grab? Where's the door? Who's just got up with him? Yeah. And then when you understand that, you can attack him. I'm going to attack him on orientate. I'm going to attack him and decide before that. He's not going to get from that to see how that's changed and do the next thing, because I'm going to attack him there.
Yeah. It's like you have to develop that mentality of think, hit, straight away access. Once you flip the switch on, you just not even thinking. You're just doing. Yeah.
You just go ballistic.
Yeah.
Quick until it's done. That's it. Yeah.
So all that stuff, like really, really interesting stuff. That's all the hardcore stuff. I thought maybe we could kind of gravitate towards the soft stuff, because I know that you also teach. I know that you also practice and teach the soft arts like qigong and tai chi, and so do you want to talk a bit about this?
Well, at one point a few years ago, I nearly gave up all the martial arts and veered into that. I was training Buddhism all the time. Went to the Buddhist center. They had courses. I got level 1, 2, 3. I was this close to getting a Sanskrit name. I was studying, I became a bard. I did all my studies and become a bard. So I was going Reiki. I got all my Reiki stuff. I was going right down that road.
That spiritual awakening.
Yeah, well, I thought I've been down this road too much. I want to come down that, because, you can turn it. You've got to watch you don't turn into the bad guy. If you're looking at bad guys and seeing bad guys all the time, and to deal with them bad guys, you've got to be a worse guy. You can become. And I thought, wow, this is not made of that. I've got to change something here. So I went like that. I got my yoga. I'm a fully qualified yoga coach. I'm a black belt in Tai Chi and Qigong. So I really went that way too much. If you've got too much yang, you need some yin.
Absolutely.
Too much yin, a hermit living in the caves is no good. You've got to have some yang. So and now
equilibrium.
Yeah.
Find a balance, the equilibrium.
All over there, back in the middle doing the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did that made you evolve on a personal level? Of course you must have. How did you evolve with these soft arts? How did it make you evolve? Did it make your martial art evolve as well?
Of course it does, yeah. You first of all, you're doing all the physical. Then it goes mental. Then it's about the emotional. Then it goes through to the spiritual. You know what I mean? You do that trip. That's part of your journey. Because, martial arts, people think it's physical.
Yeah.
But you can't have one without the other. All that is you. So it all comes along the journey with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you're just doing physical, what's happening to all that?
Yeah.
You've got to work that to evolve it.
To have that balance.
You don't always get it right. You're not always going like that. You go, ooh, ooh, it goes, ooh, about it. But so long as you're on the path,
you
have the moments of clarity, awareness. Well, we'll fall the path a bit here. Let's just get back on it again and do it again. Yeah.
So what about meditation and breath work? Is that something that you practice as well? You do like breath work and
well, stresses of life can hit you, and it can knock you for sick. But if you just sit down, I do a load of yoga. And I used to go to the Buddhist center, but the guy that does it, he shut down during COVID. But I went for 20 years. I did tons of it. And it was like all this has been emptied out of your mind. I used to call it yoga stoned. if you didn't come out of the yoga session like you were stoned, it weren't a good session. You felt fantastic. I love it. And then the idea was, my coach used to say a good thing, my teacher, yoga starts once the practice is over and you leave through that door. Because, you know, somebody cuts you up in the car. Somebody gives you that. Somebody's arguing with you. Can you still keep that calm you just developed there?
Yeah.
Now that's when it's good for you. Then you can keep it during that. Yeah, which is not so easy, but that's the practice.
Yeah. That's where the de-escalation tactics and conflict management and resolution, and these are a very important aspect of self-protection as well. Stuff that
if you can stop it kicking, you're not going to run into problems, are you? I heard it said like this. I think it was Tim Tackett. One, and I thought, that's
Tim Tackett, yeah.
I sent it round to everybody, and he goes, if I said to this man, "What you're looking at?" And she says to me, "What you're looking at? Looking at you, dickhead. We're fighting."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What you're looking at? Look at that. So where did you get that? Stop one. I might get one."
Verbal judo. I've seen that video.
Yeah. You know, they call it choice speech, don't they?
Yeah.
Certain words will flare it, certain words will calm it. It's choice speech.
It's good. It's good. That verbal judo. Yeah, I know exactly the video you're talking about.
It's Eric Paulson. I think it's on Eric Paulson's.
Yeah.
Which great. Send it around everybody.
Good. Great way to get yourself out of a situation. It's like, are you familiar with Richard Dimitri?
Yeah.
So Richard Dimitri is amazing as well. I'll have him on the show as well at some point. So basically, he says, you know, if there is a problem, there are different types of people that you might deal with. You might deal with a sociopath. You might deal with a good person having a bad day. And 90% of the time, you're dealing with a good person having a bad day. So by fishing for empathy, you 9 times out of 10, you're going to manage to de-escalate the situation just by fishing for empathy and giving the guy a way out instead of going, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, that's where the ego comes into play, and that's what you want to kind of tone down. Yes, you should be able to switch it on, you know, hit the switch on and go bam, preemptive. In your head, you might be right, motherfucker. You make one more step, I will fucking drill you. But on your facial expression might be, listen, man, can we just talk about it, man? I'm sorry, I just spilled your drink. Let me tell you what, can I buy you another drink? Oh, you made my shirt all wet. Listen, tell you what, I'll pay for your dry cleaning. All right, how is that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you give people a way so that you don't need to actually escalate that level of force. I think
you send in the conciliage before you send the bad guys.
Yeah.
You do your verbal.
Diplomacy first.
Because if you do it diplomatically, then like we were saying before, we can get that justification as how I lie. And the people around said, I heard him trying to calm it down and talking to that man. He won't listen.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're on your side because of that as well. People around.
And that's another thing that I say, you know, to my students is you should always have the same version of facts as the witnesses. You should actually put witnesses on your side when there is something happening and you know that, okay, things had to become physical and now you had to, you had to preempt someone or you had to fight. And you end up maybe hurting the guy a bit, and then the police arrives and they're asking everyone who's seen what happened, and you want to have exactly the same version of facts of the witnesses, so that, you know, like you say, you know, if you give people a way out, then the witnesses are going to be, well, I've seen this guy try to calm it down, but the other guy didn't want none of it. You know, the other guy tried to do something, and boom, it escalated, and you know, so at least now you're more safe on the legal side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what about visualization? Do you use visualization for training or for personal development?
I use visualization a lot.
Yeah, I know you would.
I've got some bad, some good. I remember before I went to work, I was in the bath. I used to close my eyes, envisage situations happening, and I dealt with them. But then I thought maybe I'm manifesting these situations, keep doing this all the time. And the level of balance from a lot went down to not a lot. So there could have been something to that.
Yeah.
In my martial arts, Bill Wallace, you know, Superfoot.
Oh, Superfoot Wallace.
So I used to love his left foot, lead leg stuff. He did a thing where he watches some great kickboxer. So I watched him with his left foot. Then he visualizes it's his head on the man's body doing that kick.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He visualizes it's him doing it. Then he tries to recreate what that guy in his brain has just done, which he can do because now his brain has got, some history of, oh, we've actually done it because there it is, bang, and then he can do it.
Yeah.
So that visualization kind of stuff was great because it didn't have to work, it takes it right up. There was a thing in weightlifting, a lot of Russian weightlifters, fractional relaxation and auto-suggestion, and it's massive. They relax all the body, virtually like self-hypnosis. They go right down, relax, every part of the body, sink right down. And then they tell themselves, I'm going to lift 10 pounds heavier next time to keep auto-suggesting it. And they come back out of it, and the weights were going, they took them through the roof with the fractional relaxation and the auto-suggestion.
Yeah.
So visualization. And
I use visualization a lot, and I realized that when I was a kid, it's something that came naturally to me. I have been visualizing as a kid, and that's how I got, that's how I got to a certain level in martial arts, the various martial arts that I did, because I used to go training, and then I was coming back home, and I would just lie on my bed, close my eyes, and in my head, I would visualize myself doing the movements. I would visualize opponents in front of me, to my side, 360-degree around, and I would test my different skills. I would create my own techniques, and that's something that really helped me. And now, it's also using visualization for personal development. So for manifestation, I don't know if you must have heard of the law of attraction, the law of
the secret.
Yeah. And so as you can see, you see all them papers, that's all like suggestions. I use suggestions. I use positive affirmations, neuro-linguistic programming, self-hypnosis. I use that stuff every single day, and I've been doing that for a long time. And it really helps in it because you're programming
your vibration.
Mind.
If you change your vibration through that positivity, you'll attract that level of higher vibration.
Yeah.
Simple, isn't it?
It's brilliant. I actually did a video on it yesterday, posted a video on it because that's something that really helped me. Like visualization is a thing that, if people would learn, it's the sort of thing that we should teach our kids. I know that kids do that on their own, but if we can teach them that, with visualization, you can actually manifest the life that you want. You can manifest the job that you want. You can manifest the friends that you want. You can manifest the situations that you want. It's amazing stuff, isn't it? So what other practices do you use as a tool for personal development? Do you use NLP as well? Do you use
NLP? Probably. Like I said, first time I heard of that was off Marcus Wynn, and he was telling me about changing the modalities. Like, you're watching these 6 TVs, bring the sound up on that one, take the brightness down, and then it was the same on the door there. I could look here and take that down a bit because I'm concentrating here, bring that back up because I want to, it was the NLP. Good,
How to regulate your consciousness. That's really what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm looking at NLP.
You like anchoring.
Anchoring, that's it.
I was talking to Marcus Wynn about this.
Yeah.
I was on this door on my own in Salford, and the door was locked, and we had the cameras, so you could see some reflex at the door. Because now, a lot went on about Jeff Cooper's color coding system. It worked for me. My everything used to go bright when I knew there was going to be some. I had to get ready. It went bright, so in my head I used to pull this light on. I take it bright by switching the light on, and that used to. Now I'm ready. I can go to the door because I'm on my own. Deal with it. And that's what he said, you're anchored in a physical state to an emotional state. So I was doing that. I didn't know it was that, but that's what he said, it's anchoring. Like if somebody has a positive experience of going around the block when they usually can't come out of the house, when they get back, they do this motion. Then when they're out and it goes, they do that positive experience from that time helps them be able to carry on doing it.
It's a movement. It's just like a gesture that puts you in the right mental and emotional state. You're accessing this most resourceful mindset and state of consciousness to deal with the situation at hand. Yeah, that's brilliant stuff. I always loved NLP. I got a really good book here. It's very simple, but for anyone that wants to learn about NLP, it's called Neuro Linguistic Programming for Dummies.
Oh yeah.
It's it's
Them
brilliant.
dummies books are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really,
Oh, for dummies are brilliant because they're breaking things down. You know, a lot of people is like, oh, it's for dummies. It's not for dummies. It's just like really broken down so that even children can understand it. And I think that the guy that created that stuff for the For Dummies editions is brilliant. He's done so many good books.
I do a lot of philosophical stuff, the Western and the Eastern as well. You know, I'm studying a lot of the Zen. I like to listen to Alan Watts, has got a lot of great
Oh,
stuff.
I love Alan Watts. I love Alan.
He's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
All these ones, you know, you can study them. One thing I like to do to make it so we can understand it.
Yeah.
What is our version of what they're saying?
Yeah.
Like when Bruce Lee goes, "Don't watch the finger pointing away to the moon,
Yeah.
or you'll miss all the heavenly glory."
Glory, yeah.
You can't see the woods for the trees.
Yeah.
Same. You know, break it down into.
I love to listen. I listen to Alan Watts. What I do is I put some liquid drum and bass on one side, and I put some Alan Watts lecture on the other side, and I listen to his voice on the drum and bass. It's brilliant. Like I listen to it all the time. So, what about spirituality? Did you ever have any like big moment of epiphany? Something that really like almost like a spiritual experience where your life was changed forever?
I've had a few in my life over the years. You know, I can say this, that, and that. In my martial arts, loads, you know, wow, that don't work. Wow, I thought he was great. Wow, that's where I watch epiphanies. Wow, that's how you can bang out. But I think the biggest one is my thing when I was younger. You know, I got to about 15 stone. I was big, I was tough.
Yeah.
I thought I could empty this place in a heartbeat if I wanted to. I'll empty the gap. And then it became, I can make everybody in here buzz. We can have a great time.
Yeah.
So more spread the love. Don't spread the violence. Spread the love, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
You got to spread the love. You need, it's like that saying, isn't it? You need to balance. Because if you love something, it's got to be worth fighting for.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you need it both. But spread the love is much better. And like you said, the law of attraction comes back.
Yeah.
You don't get there, you get right, fella.
I'm starting now slowly. I've understood that quite a while back, but I'm applying it now much more than before, where I realized that before, even in the way that I was teaching self-protection, I was always kind of trying to tell people, what if this happens? What if this happened? Kind of put people in a fear state all the time.
Good.
And that's not necessarily a good thing, because that's what you were saying earlier on. And that kind of made me laugh in my head, because I was doing the same when I was younger. When I was younger, I would go to Greg's, or I would go to a place and I would queue. And in my head, I would visualize how I would grab the guy's head in front of me, put the back of his knee, take him down, stomp his head, side kick the guy's kneecap to the right, side kick the guy's ankle to the left, and and just turn, elbow the guy behind. My whole life was a fight. Every time I would look a guy that would look tough, in my head I was, can I take him on? Do you know what I mean? That was my mindset. And right now, not right now, already quite a while back now, I calmed down. It's in steps. But recently I started to realize that, I want to get away from that sort of thinking and thought process now, because I don't want to manifest that stuff in my life. I don't want to manifest that sort of energy into my life. I believe in manifestation. I believe that whatever is happening on a mental level will manifest on an emotional level, and then will manifest on a physical level. So don't get me wrong though, you can visualize, yes, for training, you can visualize combat and stuff, you can visualize situation to learn to access aggression and things like that. But once you know how to access that aggression, you don't really need that anymore. You needed it at some point in your life, and now you're done with it, because you can't need it from it.
You transcend it.
Yes, exactly.
You can't transcend anything unless you've done it and you understand it and you know it. Right, I can transcend that now. I can leave it there. I know exactly. I can get that back if I needed it, because I can do it. So you can transcend it. Then you can't transcend something you can't do.
So we say, I don't know if you know Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle wrote a really
Living in the Power of Now.
Power of Now, brilliant book. That changed my life. And Eckhart Tolle says, you know, it's all about finding ways to get into the present moment and stop to, because we're all unconsciously identifying with the content of our mind. Everyone thinks they are their minds, when the mind is just a tool that you can use and then put to rest when you're done with it. So in terms of bringing yourself to the present moment, what's your tactic? How do you actually find ways to get to the present moment when you decide to?
Well, a lot of times, gardening, walk on the lake,
nature, that's
feed birds, do meditation if you can't get to any of that. Read a good book, you think, oh, that was ace. Even you can watch a Netflix series where you can't wait to get the next one on. I'm buzzing off that instead. You know, anything like that.
I mean, there's different ways. For me, it's quite difficult, but there are a few ways that work well with me. It's placing my awareness inward, where I'm really placing it's like if I want to turn my eyes inside and to look inside, and I start to feel the buzzing of my cells. I start to feel the tip of my fingers and toes are buzzing. And the more I focus on that buzzing, the more then it's my whole hand is buzzing, then my whole arm, and I breathe through it. And as I breathe through it, at some point, I feel my whole body is buzzing. It's a similar feeling like when you do holotropic breath work. You know, Wim Hof breath work, where you go, and you do that in sets of. I do that in sets of 30, or maybe like 5 reps of 30 sets. 5 sets of 30 reps of breathing like that. And after that 30 reps, your whole body is like buzzing. It feels like you feel even cold. You feel like your body is that cold, buzzing body. And that's when you're really brought in the present moment at that moment.
We do one similar with the breath works, mindfulness of breathing.
Yeah.
Where you're trying to count to 10. First you say the number, then you breathe. If you lose the count, you get back. You start again.
Yeah.
So you do it for 5 minutes, and then the gong goes off or whatever. Then you do the breath, then count. And you get to 10. If you get to 10, you just start again. Bong, the gong goes off. Then you breathe from a part on your body. It can be anywhere. You concentrate with your eyes closed in a meditative state. Anywhere. And then the last one is you just breathe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that focused is enabled me to let it go. Yeah, and then you just flow in.
That stuff, I wish I was taught that stuff when I was a kid. I mean, to be fair.
But would you listened?
I didn't listen.
Doing that garbage. You've
got
to know where you do it.
Certain things only come with age, you know. It's like, So tell you what, just we'll wrap up, but there's a last few questions I'd like to ask you, because I ask these questions everyone at the end of the day.
Okay.
What advice have you got to give to younger generations?
In what?
In any aspect. It could be a life advice. It could be anything. Mainly life advice.
Okay. Just try and treat people the way you would want them to treat you. There's a million you could give, but that's one, isn't it?
That's a very
good bully boy, or you're going to get it at some point. Don't do mad stuff, or it'll catch up with you. Treat people like they want to treat you, and that includes yourself. Try and treat yourself good. Put good stuff in. Only look at good stuff. Only read good stuff. Yeah.
That's a good advice, man.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Now for the last one, if you had the power to change the world at will, what would you do?
What would you do? Well, it's a thing like Alan Watts says. If you could dream, first of all, you get all the things, the money, the exotic women, the great places, and then you realise you wasn't dreaming. What would you carry on? So it's within that kind of mentality. What would you do if you could do anything? How would you change the world? If, say, like politicians that run the place, because they run the place,
No, yeah, they should.
Exactly what they said they were going to do in the manifesto beforehand.
Yeah.
Would I be a lot better off? Because a lot of these people have great things they're going to say, and things that they say they're fantastic. They just don't do them. If they did them, we might be a lot better off.
For sure.
That's it, changing the world is changing leaders to do a lot better than what they are doing.
It's true. I think, I mean, that's a completely different topic, that, Gregory, but it's like the stuff that's going on with the world right now. It's absolute craziness, man. But hopefully, I got faith in the human heart and the human spirit, man. And I know that eventually we will rise up.
Everybody's connected to the over self. But some of them break. You just got to realize we're all
one.
Accordingly, everybody's connected to the over self.
Yeah, the higher self.
Yeah, the higher consciousness, man.
Gregory, it was amazing to have you on here, man. I think that we should do that again at some point, man. And it was really awesome to speak about all that stuff. I'm sure we got some more stuff to speak about in the future. I'll be in touch with you for some more at some point.
Yeah, well, cool.
And, is there anything that you want to plug in? Have you got a website, your classes? Just you can use this podcast.
26 of this month.
Yeah.
Fairways Lodge in Prestwich, a women's self-defense course, 2 till 5.
Okay.
Got a boxing class every Sunday, 5 till 6. My son takes it at our gym. Private message me for information. Yeah. And then at the same place where I'm doing the women's self-defense class, we have a yoga, tai chi, qigong, somatics class that I take.
Nice.
On a Thursday, 7:45 till 8:45. Yeah, and then like private lessons daily. I've got Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, different Facebook pages, a WhatsApp group for ones that train with me. You can get in touch with me on any of them. And, anything we've just talked about there, we can set further.
So your WhatsApp group is G-Tech Martial Arts?
Yeah.
What's your Facebook page is Gregory Hall?
Facebook page is G-Tech Martial Arts. And I've also got a historical and modern day boxing page. I've got a woman's self-defense page.
Okay.
And I've got G-Tech Martial Arts page as well as my own thing, yeah. And YouTube, G-Tech Martial Arts too. Nice.
So for anyone that want to see this podcast or watch that podcast again, if you didn't have the time to watch it all, or you just want to watch it in bits, so everyone can watch it on YouTube. So I got the Adrenaline Combatives YouTube page. So it's broadcasted on my YouTube page, and it's also broadcasted on my Facebook page, which is Julien AC, and that is about it. That's where you guys can see the podcast if you want to watch it again. And once again, brilliant to have you there, Gregory, and we'll definitely do that at some point soon, man.
That's my first ever podcast, Buzzy.
Yeah, you did great, man. You did great.
Yes.
All right, brother. I'll see you soon, man.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, man.
Thank you. Take care.